Oh, Rosen.
Thank you very much. Love Potion. Love Potion number 9. You know, they got a brand name now for Love Potion 9. It's called Requip. Yeah, I didn't think that would work. I got nothing. I mean, I got something. I got all the things I can't tell you. All the things my wife can't tell you, my daughter can't tell you, my pharmacist legally can't tell you, the girl at the sex shop shouldn't tell you. There's a whole lot of tight lips in my world these days. Which is difficult when you're paid to open your mouth. See, the thing that I used to love about doing this, about doing stand-up, was that when we laugh, we're all in the same place, right? For that one moment, we're all in it together. We get it. Nodding heads, same boat, simpatico. And we're not anymore. Believe me, we are in very different boats. That is a side effect I didn't see coming when I got the news. And the side effects of those side effects? It was only when I was coming here tonight that I realized that life is one long side effect. I mean, isn't it? You know, come on, our parents decided to get it on one night, one afternoon, one morning, whatever, and we're the side effect, right? And ever since that moment, we came streaming into the world. Almost every waking second has been spent dealing with other side effects, and side effects of those side effects, and side effects of those side effects, and the mirror just goes on forever. Okay, how many people remember that big snowstorm we had early this year? Come on, don't hurt, it won't hurt. There you go. See, yeah, welcome to Cleveland, right? Thank you, right? Well, naturally, I went out to shovel my driveway, which induced the side effect of an aching back. Now, normally I would take some pills, you know, some anti-inflammatories to deal with the pain, but I hate taking pills. I mean, hate it. Hate it! You know, partially it's my nature, not wanting to alter my body, and part of it is a side effect of my mother-in-law's taking a daily aspirin, which produced a hole in her stomach that killed her. Death is a side effect. I think that's one of the worst side effects you can get. Anyways, the side effect of my not being able to shovel because of my aching back is that the snowstorm keeps piling up fresh inches on my driveway, and I can't clear it off. You know, if only I hadn't shoveled before, my driveway would be shoveled now, which has the side effect of my stuck car and lost wages and missed opportunities. I mean, was there ever even an original goal to this whole mess to begin with, right? I mean, the United States is just a side effect of people being pissed off wherever they were before, or being kicked out or dragged from wherever they were before. The continent is just a side effect of global plates ramming together and pulling apart, and the planet is just an offshoot of the Big Bang. And, ooh, the Big Bang, you know that had to be a side effect. Probably somebody's parents getting it on one night, one afternoon, one morning, whatever. Actually, the need to procreate might be what got me into this mess to begin with. You know, a few years ago, I am a free-floating 20-something. Free floats home to his apartment, and outside are 15 or 20 people hanging out and chatting. So I start chatting, and there is this girl. This amazing, flashing eye. Feel your heart beating against your ribs. Am I still breathing? Girl. And we go around the circle, telling a little bit about ourselves, and the wheel lands on this one guy named Mike, who conspicuously doesn't say his last name. So I say, "Hey, Mike, what's your last name?" "Oh, no, I'm not going to tell you my last name. You'll make fun of it." And I'm thinking, hello, I'm a comic. But I say, "Oh, come on, I wouldn't make fun." All right, my last name is Stanfar. Stanfar? Why would I make fun of a name like Stanfar, especially given my last name? Why? What's your last name? Sit close. Girl is the only one that laughs. And I am enthralled. Not because I'm a comic and she laughed at my little joke, but because she's the only one who appreciates how far I had to go to get to that joke. See, sometimes the humor is in the slow setup more than it's in the punchline. Anyways, this got us hanging out the rest of the night, and we have been laughing and hanging out for over 20 years now. Maggie, that's her name. She is one of those amazing people who just doesn't get any older. I mean, I guess if I look closely, she's physically changed, but inside, she is still the same sparking, flashing smile, quick to laugh, quick to fight, just graceful. And we are one of those disgusting couples who still straight talk and have fun together. Which makes it odd that I used to fantasize about her death. Thank you. Well, it wasn't the dying part I used to fantasize about, okay? I'd be devastated by that. It was the after I got over the grief part. Mostly was the I can now have sex with a whole bunch of women, attractive women part. Right, it was my fantasy, right? You know, accent on the word fantasy. Because Maggie's in my married life was chugging along just fine. Well, except for the sexual ennui creeping between the sheets, which sounds way more French than it actually is. It's a cliche, right? Man wants sex, woman doesn't. Life gets in the way, right? We have jobs, we have kids. Oh, we have one kid. I would gladly have another, but apparently you have to keep the one they give you at the hospital. That's pretty good. Her name is Emma. She's 13, and she's actually pretty funny, which, you know, I appreciate. The other day, she was trying to figure out time zones. Dad, is the West Coast ahead of us or behind us? Well, think about it, kiddo. Which way does the sun rise? Up. Dad, should I be a comedian? You already are. We love her dearly, but our budding little stand-up takes a lot of our focus. I mean, Maggie and I used to be young lover woman and young lover man, and now we're mom and dad. Very different job titles. Oh, and we have our paying jobs, which also tend to interfere with romance. Maggie's is even a steady one. She's an OBGYN, and she hears complaints all day long from patients about low libido, which is ironic. Or maybe it's just coincidence. But either way, the financial security of her job allows me to take my insecurities out into the world and get paid for them. How many people are married here tonight? Hey, all right! You know you've been married for a long time when love making has to have a noun after it. As in, I love making cookies. Or we love making money. Yeah, I should have seen this coming. Back when we got engaged, we registered, I guess for China. And people asked us if we'd chosen a pattern yet. And I'm like, yeah. Usually I beg, she falls asleep. Sort of a traditional pattern we chose, one my parents had. I actually think that I am getting better in bed. Good, you didn't laugh. No, really, no, when we first got married, I would go all night just to satisfy her. Now, one time, and my wife is happy for a month. So I am getting pretty good at this. Pretty soon, we won't have to do it at all. Which was good to take it out there. Because God knows I could take it out at home, but I had nowhere to put it. But Maggie's and my married life was like swimming, our date nights were like swimming in waters, right? Where underneath was this great white shark of sexual tension. I desperately wanted the night to end in sex. And she knew that I desperately wanted the night to end in sex. So we are having a nice dinner out, right? Nice dinner out, wine, the laughs. Dun, dun. More wine, not too much talk about Emma. Dun, dun. Maybe a nice walk, holding hands. Dun, 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 dun. Maybe a movie or a show. Dun, 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 dun. Don't blow this. Do not blow this. Dum, 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 dum. Home. Dum, 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 dum. Make sure the daughter's asleep. Dum, 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 dum. Bedroom. Dum, 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 dum. Into bed. Dum, 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 dum. So close. So close. Do-do-do. 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 Get your cold hands away from my legs if you value your knuckles. But I want you. You are so predictable. If I wasn't predictable, would you want me? I knew you'd say that. Look, I'm not happy about this either, okay? I wish I was in the mood, but I'm not. If it's any consolation, we're not the only ones. I have dozens of women coming in a week telling me that their husbands want sex and they're just not that interested anymore. And they ask for a patch or a secret method, and all I can think of is, tell me about it, sister. I'm sorry. I'm just too tired. God! 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 God? Okay. I know we have a fairly ambiguous relationship. I am fairly confident that you exist, and yet I believe that your behavior is completely ambiguous. So I don't actually expect my prayers to be answered. Sometimes I just need the exercise in humility. But if you can find a way with the whole omnipotence thing for Maggie to be sexually reinvigorated, it would really help my sanity. Amen. Be careful what you pray for, Philip. Ah, that is Shell. We call him the rabbi. Now, he's not a comedian, but he hangs out at the comedy clubs, and he gives some good comedy advice, tells a decent joke. Maybe that's why we call him the rabbi. Or maybe it's because he's a retired rabbi. Yeah. We also get into some spiritual discussions, too. Sometimes he gets into my head with that stuff, whether I want him there or not.
You know, Philip, there are different levels of the soul. There's the base level that most people live with and never move beyond here in the physical world.
Why are we talking about this?
Your whole goal here on earth is to elevate your soul. Wherever you turn your attention, that is where your soul will follow. I'm just saying, you focus here, your soul moves here. You focus here. Yeah, but it gets the laughs, Rabbi.
Or used to. And you know, it's not so easy to focus on the spiritual when you got physical problems. You know, like Maggie, she's got this persistent weird sensation and sometimes twitching and buzzing in her left hand. You know, I was thinking the other day about diseases because I'm a comic, that's what I do. And there are certain diseases that are just funny, you know, like Tourette's. Guys start swearing uncontrollably, inherently funny. You know, I heard that kids can start showing symptoms in early childhood. At the age of 4, I don't even know how they have a complete vocabulary of swear words. Or they just jumping rope and then start blurting out, poop, 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 you do not a poopy head. And then, ooh, there's dyslexia, right? You know, I had a friend with dyslexia. I was kind of mean to him on his birthday. I gave him a book of palindromes and told him he was cured. Oh, and Parkinson's is funny, right? Because there are certain jobs you don't give a Parkinson's person, you know, like a barber, sniper, Jell-O mold server, moil. That's the person who performs the circumcisions in the Jewish religion. Now, I've been to a few circumcisions in my day, besides mine. And do you know how many of these circumcisions someone makes a joke about the shaky moil or the moil with Parkinson's? All of them. Yeah. I know this not just because of my own personal experience, but because Maggie is a moil. She performs dozens of circumcisions each year, and she tells me after each one how someone made a shaky moil joke. See, she's really attuned to these things now because that pain in her shoulder and buzzing feeling, Parkinson's. Yeah. That one is ironic. No one knows why people get Parkinson's. Sometimes it's genetic. Mostly it's not. It could be your environment or it could be head trauma. No two people are affected by the disease the same way. But most everyone who has the disease, especially young onset Parkinson's, tells basically the same story. And it's always a horror movie. When those little physical flukes start fluking, you might as well be walking down the stairs in a slasher film. You want to yell out, "Don't go down there!" Or in this case, swing your arm when you walk. Swing it! Swing it! That'll make it all go away! But just like in those horror movies, once you start down those stairs, there is no turning back. So Maggie had these symptoms for about 2 years, and her course of treatment was self-guided. Massage, exercise, and the time-tested medical therapy of ignoring it. And when that didn't seem to be working, She saw a few neurologists, and there was the word. And the word was Parkinson's, which is not curable, which is degenerative. And that's all we can say for certain. The more she and I dig on the internet and reference books and talk to people who have it, the more we realize there's no owner's manual for this thing. And if there was, it would be a one-word book. Whatever! Because that would be easier than writing down about every possible symptom and then ending every explanation with, or you could experience the complete opposite. Like insomnia is a side effect of Parkinson's, but so is somnolence, which is daytime drowsiness. At night, why not be sleepy during the day? And then there's akathisia, which is the inability to sit still. Now, if you have this, do not panic. Akathisia can mean one of three things. You have Parkinson's, you have Spilkus, or you're under the age of 14. Check your birth certificate and a Yiddish dictionary to determine which one it is. And then there's also micrographia, which is a deterioration in handwriting. Now this one, Maggie definitely got. Maggie used to have very sharp, very clear handwriting. I mean, if unintelligible scrawling was a required course in medical school, she might have been kicked out because it was too legible. But with Parkinson's, it's become a challenge to decipher her penmanship, which makes it much more difficult to read her patient charts. And it's also screwed up our own communication. See, my penmanship is so bad that a slight tremor might actually improve it. But now we both write these little cryptic notes that might as well be written in Sanskrit. Where have you been? At the dentist? Didn't you see my note? Yes, it says you were at the Armenian ambassadors. Why would I be at the Armenian ambassadors? I don't know, it said that you'd be there till after 11:30. That says 5:30, and your note says you were fluming to the circus for beads. Why would I do that? I don't know. That says going to the store for some bread. I don't know. What is fluming? I don't know. And why would I go to the circus for beads? I don't know! So, now we don't write. Side effects. And Parkinson's has also made Maggie's voice softer. Combine that with my selectively failing hearing, and even though we've only been married for 20 years, our conversations now rely on the subtle grunts and nods of a couple that's been together for 50. Parkinson's has given us the gift of premature maturity. But Maggie, using her doctor brain, is pouring through abstracts from the annual Movement Disorder Conference with titles like Delivery of Kinase-Modified LARP2 to the dopaminergic neurons using high-capacity viral vectors, which I think has something to do with getting Parkinson's while in hyperspace. And I am, snooping around for anecdotal cures on my laptop and coming up with all sorts of things that are supposed to help. Dancing, singing, boxing, playing drums, forced high-speed biking, knitting, and taking a foreign language. It's like Parkinson's is the ultimate self-improvement disease. Come on, honey! Fred run shotgun, Fred run shotgun, part let it move. Donde? Esta. 99 Luftballons, alle Fremden zu reisen. Knit one, purl two, knit one, purl two. Knit one, purl two, knit one, purl two. Look, honey, here's the matching sweaters I finished. And look, no Parkinson's. I like when I can still make her laugh. So we used to be two independent people who lived our lives as friends, lovers, and complete equals. When there are times one of us had to deal with something, the other could help out with advice or comfort, or just by being there, being strong and knowing it'll pass. Parkinson's won't pass. I try to be supportive. I don't always know what that means. Sometimes I try to comfort her when she just wants to be left alone, or vice versa. I notice her hand shaking, and I wonder whether I should take it or leave it alone for fear she'll get angry at me for trying to steady her. We're back to being a young couple, with me uncertain of when to take her hand. And see, that's the thing. All of this, everything that comes with this one word, Parkinson's. all of the emotions and the changes and the treatments and our whole future being ripped out from underneath us. This whole huge new universe that we are in. We have to keep all locked up in here. We don't lock. Maggie and I are very open people. I mean, I go on stage and dangle my private life every weekend, for God's sake. But here's this one thing. If it so much as peeks one tiny little claw out from underneath the door, and somebody sees it, it could ruin our whole lives, right? Because, God forbid, who wants the trembling surgeon or the shaking oil? You know what? And I know. I don't want my surgeon trembling either. But Maggie is taking medication to keep her steady. And we asked her doctor about the ethical and legal issues.
Please. Do you know how many doctors are on medication for seizure disorders or fighting drug addiction? None of them are required to tell anybody before they operate.
How many people here are planning on having surgery? Day after day. After a while, you start thinking, everybody has got secrets. Swiss bank account.
Sex change operation.
Married to 3 different women in 2 different states. Thinks that being a cannibal might not be all bad. We very quickly learned that keeping secrets means more than keeping your mouth shut. It means keeping your mind and emotions shut. See, but my mind is racing with thoughts about Maggie's, health and about her disability insurance. And what about health insurance, And then I run into somebody somewhere and they ask me how I'm doing and how Maggie's doing. I gotta quick put on a smile and, oh, we're great. Everything is great, I almost screwed it up a couple of times. I ran into a guy at the pharmacy. Hey, Phil, what you doing? Oh, I'm just picking up some medication for Maggie's parking problem. She has got a parking problem. She pulls in, and she pulls out, and she pulls in, and pulls out. Well, she seemed fine pulling out of the driveway the other day. Well, it's meters. She has a real problem with meters and parallel. Gosh, I didn't realize they had medication for that. Modern medicine. Look, I gotta go. Maggie's driving around the lot. God. So, keeping my mouth shut is hard. But Maggie, she not only has to keep her mouth still, she has to keep her arm silent. So you wouldn't know it unless you knew it. But Maggie keeps her left hand in her pocket or under the table when she's with somebody that doesn't know. Oh man, she's getting really good at hiding it. But eventually we are going to have to tell. Not because of a burst of the burden, but because of the slow, steady hiss of Maggie's symptoms. They'll become obvious, like pregnancy. We just hope the telling will be on our time. Unless it's not. See, ever since her diagnosis, Maggie's had a safety valve, and that's a journal she keeps in her nightstand drawer, which fortunately is magically invisible to children. You can keep your condoms, your lubricant, your Dildo-Matic 9000 right there in that nightstand drawer. No child is ever going to think to look in there, right? Cue our daughter Emma, who needed a pen. And the magic shield must have been turned off because she sees the nightstand and we hear her crying before we ever see her. She comes running down the stairs, needing to hug her mother, but afraid to. That is the first punch in the stomach. She's read the journal, and she absolutely knows her mother is going to die. Emma, sweetheart, Emma, hey, shh, look at me. Do I look any different now than I did this morning? Okay. We are all okay tonight. Tonight is where we are. I'm sorry you got scared. That's what we were trying to avoid. not sorry. And that's how our daughter ate from the tree of knowledge. And now she has to deal with the side effects. Which fortunately doesn't mean her being kicked out of the garden, but it does mean her having to bear the secret burden, just like her parents. She's a lot smaller than we are. She's a vibrant, social, talkative little kid. Or she was. We can start seeing the changes almost immediately.
Oh, Philip! Hey, I haven't seen you in a while. Where you been?
Oh, you know, Shell, home life, craziness.
Crazy's good. Crazy is a gold mine, right?
Right, look, I gotta go. I'll see you later.
Philip, what's going on?
Nothing. Nothing's going on. Why would anything be going on? Why?
Did I ever tell you the one about the old man who walked into the confessional and says, Father, I am 84 years old, and last night I had an affair. I made love to 2 college co-eds, both of them, twice. The priest thinks for a minute and then says, well, my son, when was the last time you were in confession? The man says, never, Father, I'm Jewish. The priest thinks for a minute and says, what are you telling me? Telling you? Hell, I'm telling everybody. That should be you, Philip. Telling everybody. Not keeping it in. That can have side effects.
So can letting things out, Rabbi. And is it so wrong to want to live life on our terms? I mean, isn't that why Maggie started taking these pills to begin with?
You know, Philip, I was just thinking about this, Rabbi.
Is this another joke?
No joke. No, I was thinking about holding things in. And I was thinking about this great rabbi I knew who found out that he had some sort of disease, Parkinson's it could have been. And he wondered if he could still be of use to his congregation if they found out. You know, so should he take the medication and keep it a secret, or should he not? You know what he decided? What? Not one pill. Do you know why?
Really bad prescription coverage?
He wants to live with the earthly obstacle of Parkinson's in order to elevate himself spiritually. If he muddles his mind with chemicals, where's the room for grace? For God. God gives people challenges for a reason. That's what he said. The question is, what are you going to do with it?
We're going to say, thank you, God, for these challenges. And for all the medication that you helped create. And Maggie's going to keep taking these pills, and we are going to keep this secret for as long as possible. Because if Maggie and I had to choose one of us to get Parkinson's, we probably both would have chosen Maggie. I mean, she's cracking a little bit underneath the stress, but she's handling the prognosis better than I could have. And she has no problem taking pills to deal with the symptoms. I, on the other hand, really do not like the idea of chemically altering this mess of a man, commonly known as Phil. I cannot take any drugs or pills. I would be the world's worst drug addict. I'd be going to bed at night. Ah, damn it! Oh, I forgot to take my heroin today. Should I take it now? I'll do it tomorrow. If I ever did take heroin and was thrilled with the experience, I still wouldn't be able to go back for seconds. Now, I'd be telling the dealer, no, I loved the euphoria. It's just, can I get that without the injection? No, sniffing isn't appealing. No pills. Ooh, if you had a heroin cream, I'd be willing to try that. How about a heroin cream that's also SPF 50? So if I zone out in the sun, I'm protected. You got anything like that? I always thought if I ever came down with some sort of chronic illness, I'd have to opt for some sort of holistic cure. You know, like rubbing. I like rubbing. You know, okay, Mr. Philip, here we go. We're going to rub that also right out of your belly. Here, just rub. Go to rub that arthritis right out of your arms. Just rub. Go to rub that macular degeneration right out of your eyes. Just rub. Oh, so sorry. Show that back there. There we go. That's it. Rub. Now we're going to rub that enlarged prostate. Whoa, hey, okay, come on. Whoa, I'm healed. I am healed. So thank God Maggie can take pills. But of course, the new twist with all of these new drugs is... Thank you for staying awake. Some common Parkinson's drugs cause dyskinesias, which is, now I kid you not, uncontrolled jerky motions. How do you even know it's working? That's why no pill will ever pass these lips. Taking anything is like playing the big pharmaceutical slot machine. Put the pill in your mouth, pull the handle, wheel starts spinning, and who knows where it stops. You know, Maggie's main drug is Requip, which has all kinds of side effects that take up the better part of its commercial. Has anybody seen it? Anybody? Yeah, good, yes. See, in the commercial, it's a remedy for restless leg syndrome. So they show it like 3 in the morning when everybody who can't sleep because the restless leg is watching television. Because pharmaceutical companies are no dummies. A lot of Parkinson's patients have RLS, but you can get it without having Parkinson's. And a regular dose of Requip, much smaller than a Parkinson's patient would take, can be effective. Now, I downloaded the commercial from YouTube. It has, let's see if it works. Okay? We'll just try this. Go ahead and hit it. That wasn't it.
Doctor, about weekly.
Cool, it worked! So you heard those, right? You got your standard headaches, nauseousness, dizziness, trouble breathing, but then you've got those urges you need to see your doctor about. Urges like, gambling, or sexual urges, or apparently a compulsion to do the crossword puzzle. Now of those, can you guess which one I was rooting for? Can you guess which one I was expecting? Yeah, I started keeping a very close eye on our bank account and our credit cards, but the pharmaceutical slot machine went round and round and round for about 3 months, and then... Jackpot! I don't want to make light of what could be a debilitating situation, but let me just say this again. Jackpot! Oh yeah! Jackpot! Oh, baby! Oh, yes! Now I clarify. I know that jackpot is a gambling term. Maggie had no interest in gambling. I was the one feeling very, very lucky. Oh, we're having sex one night and I realized this is the second time in a week we've done this. When was the last time that happened? I chalked it up to a nice surprise. Then, about a week later, I'm feeling the Jaws theme undertow of sexual desire bubbling up from underneath, so I order some wine, get tickets to a show, warm up my hands, bang! Oh, we're doing it again before we ever get out of the house! And then again, and then again! And I'm thinking, is this possibly the greatest side effect in the history of side effects? Oh yeah, oh yeah! Before Parkinson's and Requip, there were certain requirements for sex. Maggie's job had to be going well. Our daughter couldn't need our attention. The house had to be between 74 and 84 degrees Fahrenheit. And the Democrats had to have control of at least one house of Congress. Now the requirements are my wife has to have a job, our daughter has to be alive, the house has to be standing, the temperature needs to be between 0 and 100 degrees Fahrenheit, and the Democrats have to have control of at least one house of Congress. These things happen all the time! Oh, yes! The dining table! The bathroom floor! Oh, yeah! Our friend's dark patio during a party. The front seat of our Prius. The back seat of a Prius. We don't even know whose car it was. You see? This is what I was talking about. I had this same need all this time, and you were refusing me. Are you complaining? No, Philip. Yes, Shell? Ooh, is this your Prius? I was just thinking about elevating your soul. And there are ways to do it here, now, while we're still on this planet. Good deeds, observance, overcoming obstacles within us to be
become a better person. And I think this is the point. Controlling our base physical desires and making them whole. For example, we need to eat, which is no different than an animal, but bless and thank God for our food. That elevates us to a higher level. Oh, then thank you, God. See, we have been smacked upside the head a lot this year. God wants to cut us a break. Just this one break. I'm so not looking that gift horse in the mouth or any other orifice. So, we are diving into these new pills, right? Woo! But there is one that we leave behind. Maggie's regular doctor suggests she go off of birth control, which means I have to go on it, which means
Condoms have changed a lot since I was 17. Apparently there have been major advancements in intercourse in the intervening years that I wasn't aware of. Condoms in different colors and sizes and shapes, and well, not shapes, I mean there's no trapezoids, but enhancements and personalities, right? Like, I mean, you've got your Trojans, right? Very raw! Very 300, you know? Very romantic.
Trojan Maxim XL. Feel my Greco-Roman man machine.
But then you've got, lifestyles, right? Very soft, very 80s. No Homeric clattering of steel, just candles and lifestyles. So thin you'll forget you're wearing them. That could be awkward a few days later at the gym. And then you've got, your natural lambskin luxury condoms. For the man making over $100,000 a year who doesn't want children. Oh, and then condoms with batteries that vibrate. How lazy do you have to be to use those? And then you've got your generic brands. Now, I don't know about you, but when it comes to condoms, I'm just not interested in the President's Choice or Flavor Right house brand. Macaroni? Yes. Birth control? No. And then we have to deal with quantity. You see, back in the old days, I debated about whether or not to get the giant Costco size, weigh the cost savings advantage on a per condom basis against the question of if I'd ever actually use all 12. But now, 3 dozen bucks it is! Woo! Oh, good! Whoa, hey, slow down! How about a little foreplay, a little cuddling? Fuck that. A little post-coital holding and chatting? I feel like we haven't talked. Nah, I'm gonna raid the fridge. Do we have any pizza? I'm married to a frat boy. She starts asking to join my pickup basketball game, or I can't catch her eating straight out of the fridge, and we are pulling back on the drugs. So, one side effect is that she is becoming more masculine, and I am becoming more feminine. I find myself going out shopping and just buying her things, just cause. Flowers, jewelry, baseball card of her favorite player as a kid, just cause. In hindsight, that should have been the first clue that the ground was shifting underneath. Hey, Emma! How was school, right? How's that math test? How's the cafeteria? You heard any good jokes I can steal? Maggie? Maggie, have you noticed a change in... I can't help but notice that you're only wearing a towel. I was just downstairs with Emma, and can't help notice that you're not even wearing a towel anymore. We can talk about Emma later, come on. So, Maggie and I are thrilled with her newfound libido. She's actually trying to find ways to get some of this medication to all of her patients who complain about their low sex drive. You know, I recommended that she diagnose them all with restless legs. Did I just see your leg shake? I'm going to prescribe this medication for you. She can't do that, you know? And as for me, well, I have got this one great thing in my life, right? Guess what? I have to keep it a secret. You know, I walk down the street and I see other guys and they see me, but I know them. They don't know me anymore. Not really. I mean, they think that we're still all on the same married, sex-deprived island with no hope of rescue, right? But every night when they're asleep, I'm catching a motorboat back to the sex-deprived mainland. I want to laugh. I want to shout. I want to have this one happy corner while the rest of my life is slowly burning down around me. And I can't even share that. I've been married for a while. I actually think I'm getting better in bed. No, really. When we first got married, I would go all night just to satisfy her. Now, one time, and my wife is happy for a month. So, you can feel free to turn that off at any point. So, I think I'm getting better. I mean, pretty soon, we might not have to do it at all. I'm sorry. Thank you. You've been great, except for you with the phone.
Philip, what happened? Where is the funny? Philip, where's the funny? Philip,
Where's the funny? Where's the funny? Where is the funny in a guy getting all the sex that he wants? Huh? Or his wife having a debilitating disease? Or her starting to lose her grip? See, Maggie used to ask me, how can you concentrate and get anything done when you are thinking about sex all the time? Now, she asks again, but this time, it's a very different question. How can you concentrate and get anything done when you are thinking about sex all the time? That is when I started to see the future. See, Maggie's most recent increase in craving was a result of her most recent increase in medication. Her body's changing too fast. See, we just get her symptoms under control, and then we don't. And the only answer that we have is for her to take more pills, which is just going to up her sex drive into higher and higher gears as the months and years go on. And these are gears that I vaguely recall from when I was 19. I'm not 19 anymore. What's the matter?